People look at me as a black man and say, hey, you must be amazing at basketball. You must be packing. Well, I'm here to tell you black men are not a monolith. I'm terrible at basketball and only have a slightly above average PP.
I'm every nigga, they're all in me. Hey, yo, I ain't mean it like that, baby.
People look at me as a black man and say,
hold on. There's more. Hold on. There's more. Hold on, I gotta find the other one. I gotta find out. Here we go.
I know what you're thinking. Handsome black man, he must drive a souped up Charger, Chevy Impala even. Silly bigot, I drive a base model Subaru. Just because I'm African American doesn't mean I don't have the vehicular taste of a 50-year-old white man.
I'm every nigga, they're all in me. Hey, yo, I ain't mean it like that, baby.
I know.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Spann Report Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. This is episode number 335 of the report. And, yo, man, I found that on, somebody is at my fucking front door. Let's go ahead and ignore that, you know what I'm saying? But, yo, so, yeah, that shit just threw me all the way the fuck off, man. Damn, thank you, Google. No, but I found that on Twitter. As a matter of fact, I didn't exactly find it. The homie Ashanti sent that to me on Twitter, and there's like a whole ass thread of these niggas talking about I'm every nigga and all of the stereotypes that you know, supposedly we encompass and shit. And I just thought that shit was funny. There's a whole lot more of them. I just didn't have like all the time in the world to just keep playing those niggas videos. But yo, it is what it is, man. But yo, it is again, like I said, episode number 335 of the report. And before we get into everything, of course, I got to remind you guys how to get into get at us over here at the Spann Report Podcast and let your voice be heard. There we go. First things first, you can hit up our hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages, and of course those messages will get read here and replied to here live on the show. You can also chop it up with us while we're doing the show, man. Call that number, area code 313-288-0485. Chop it up with me and while we talking tonight, right? Also, you can email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead and leave us those emails. And, of course, those emails will get replied to here live on the show as well. We got an email that we need to reply to tonight, so we're going to be doing that. Email us at feedback@thespannreport.com. You can also go to our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can vote in the polls when we decide to put those polls up. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And, of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network. Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So you can go there, follow me there, chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. And also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Stitcher Radio. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. Yeah, so we got the business out of the way, man. We got the business out of the way. So, normally we kind of start this thing off with some random thoughts and shit, and I got a few random thoughts, man. Your man Spann been thinking this week, man. I've been thinking, and I got a few random thoughts. So I figured I'd share them with you guys, see what you guys thought about some of the things that I've been thinking about over the course of the week. And the first thing I was thinking about, man, is, because of the nature of my job, I have to go into a whole bunch of different people's houses and shit, right? And one of the things that I tend to notice, man, and I'm gonna talk to my fellas, man. I'm gonna talk to my brothers on this one here, man. I'm gonna need you niggas to like stop leaving your vicious ass dogs at your mama house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Y'all got these pit bulls, y'all got Rottweilers, y'all got Dobermans and shit, and y'all like, maybe you thinking about breeding these little motherfuckers or whatever else. I don't know what y'all doing, but y'all leave these damn dogs over at your parents' house, right? And here's how I know that y'all don't really know what the fuck y'all doing, and it ain't because y'all trying to protect shit, because you ain't trying to protect your mama, and the reason why I know you ain't trying to protect your mama is because your mama is scared of the fucking dog too. The damn dog in the basement raising hell. You know what I'm saying? Stop leaving them vicious ass dogs over there with your mama. She can't control them. And then when somebody come over to the house to come do some work, they're like, hey man, y'all got to put that motherfucking dog up. And she like, I can't control this damn dog, baby. That's my son, dog. My son leave that goddamn dog over here, and I don't even go in my basement. I can't tell you the last time I've been in my basement because of that goddamn dog. I got to call my son. Y'all got to wait until my son can get over here, and then you roll up mad than a motherfucker because somebody trying to do some work at your mama's house because you got to pick your motherfucking dog up. Like, come on, man. Stop doing that, man. Please. Please. And thank you. I really would appreciate that. because I would hate to give your dog a concussion. I've given dogs concussions before. It's not something that I'm proud of, but I was trying to save my own ass. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things I was thinking about, man. Another thing I was thinking about. So here's another. It's kind of weird too. So like, you know, people be buying houses and stuff, right? You buy a house, and it's a beautiful thing when you buy your own home and shit, right? But y'all will leave like your mama's house or whatever. Y'all would you would leave out of your mama's house or your parents' house. Period. It ain't necessarily just your mama's house, but y'all would leave your parents' house. And one of the reasons why you couldn't wait to get out of your mama's or your parents' house is because you wanted your own space. I need my own space, man. I'm tired of motherfuckers trying to tell me what to do. I got to come in a certain hour, this, that, and other, because it's somebody else's roof. You got to follow by their rules, this, that, and other. We all understand that, right? You know, you got to respect the rules of the house. Everybody knows you got to respect the rules of the house, right? So then you get your own spot. You know what I'm saying? You get your own spot, and you're like, yo, man, I make the rules in this motherfucker, man. Now y'all got to respect the rules in my house, right? You got to respect the rules in my house, right? And you feel real proud to say that kind of shit. Like, yeah, this mine, right? But then the tripped out part about it be half of the time. Some of you motherfuckers is moving into places, they got homeowners associations. Yeah, y'all moving to a spot that got homeowners associations, and the homeowners association is telling you what the fuck to do with your crib, man. That'd be the funny shit. Like, I be seeing all these people, man, they buy these houses and these goddamn home with these HOAs, and the tripped out part about it is y'all paying these people. Y'all are paying these people to tell you what to do with the property that you supposedly own, right? Now, the tripped out part about it is your mama and your daddy been doing this shit for free, dog. They've been doing this shit for free all your life. You are actually paying somebody for the privilege of being able to tell you to cut your motherfucking grass. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch? Like, come on, man. Come on. I'm gonna need y'all. Help me help y'all, man. Stop doing that. Stop going into these HOAs. Stop talking about some, I was having this conversation with this young lady yesterday, and she was talking some, well, my HOA fee is only $35. I said, you could have gave your mama that $35 to tell you where you was fucking up in life. You ain't got to be paying these strangers, man. Keep that money in the family. Keep that money in the family, man. So, yeah. That was one of the things I was thinking about, man. HOAs are terrible. I'm sorry. You couldn't pay a nigga enough to, like, tell me when to do what? Excuse me? Man, fuck you. Right? That's just my attitude, though. So, that's one of the things I was thinking about, man. Another thing I was thinking about, man. Y'all know your man Spann just did a bid in Facebook jail. And, you know, it was a bitch, man. You know what I'm saying? 3 days, it was a bitch, man. I hated every minute of it. I thought it was unjust. You know what I'm saying? I was unjustly locked the fuck up because we still don't know what the hell I did. You know what I'm saying? Facebook still ain't gave your boy Spann a word or nothing, right? But the worst thing about it, man, the worst thing about being in Facebook jail was all the birthdays I missed, man. All the birthdays, you know, I promise y'all, family, that I'm gonna be better, man. I'm gonna be better. I'm not gonna miss no more of y'all birthdays, man. It was a whole bunch of birthdays came across, man. I couldn't tell y'all happy birthday. I ain't had y'all phone numbers. I couldn't text y'all or nothing, man. And I just wanted to let y'all know, man, Spann didn't forget about you. Okay, I ain't forget about you, man. I was thinking about y'all, man. I'm like, damn, it's his birthday, and I can't say happy birthday to a nigga, man. It's her birthday, and I can't say happy birthday to her sister, man. And I feel like I let a lot of y'all down, man. You know, being locked down the way that I was. You know what I'm saying? And I just got to make that promise, man. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better. I hope. But it's like kind of fucked up though when you don't know what you did. So yeah, but I promise I'm gonna be better, man. We gotta stay out of the Facebook lockup, man. I'm a repeat offender and shit now. It's kind of crazy. That was one of the things I was thinking about, man. How fucked up it is, man. That was one of the worst things about being on lockdown, man. I was away from y'all, you know? I was away from y'all. Another thing I was thinking about, and this actually had something to do with interaction I had with some young sisters on Twitter earlier in the week, man. And this is a question that I need to ask you guys. You know, and real talk, I need some feedback on this because I've been thinking about this, you know, for a while. And I've seen this sort of statement being made quite often, and I've never really quite understood why it's such a prevalent, like, stance, right? But I got this question for y'all. Are you the type of person who believes that a man shouldn't go, quote unquote, back and forth with a woman? Are you the type of person? If you are that type of person, why do you believe that a man shouldn't go, quote unquote, back and forth with a woman? And the reason why I say that is because I was having this interaction, like, you know, on Twitter, and people be talking kind of crazy to you on Twitter. I didn't even curse these girls out, really. And it was kind of funny because as the conversation kind of went on, I could just kind of tell they were a little young. But one of the things that I see people say all the time is that, like, you going back and forth with females, man, what's wrong with you? What kind of man is you? And it's like, first things first, man, like, are they adults? Right? Like, are they adults? I'm going back and forth with adults. It's not as if I'm having an argument with a child. I'm having a back and forth with an adult. The idea that because she's a woman, that somehow means that she's not able to carry on a conversation or have a disagreement respectfully or have this back and forth because she's a woman, I think that's actually, like, kind of fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And then the worst part about it is when you see women, to me, this is the thing I think is like the worst part of it. When you see women perpetuating that and women saying that, why are you going back and forth with a female? Or why are you going back and forth with a woman? And this is like, you kind of self-owning. Like, this is a self-own right now. Like, these aren't the threats, or these aren't the insults that you think they are. You need to rethink this shit, because you're essentially saying that you are not worthy of this back and forth with me. Right? You're saying that about yourself. It's not like, to me, it's not necessarily a denigration of my manhood, because again, I define what my manhood is. I don't give a fuck how anybody feels about it. I define who I am, right? But this idea that you shouldn't have a back and forth with a woman or a female, quote unquote, as some of these people like to put it, like, I kind of wonder, like, why so many people feel like that, and do they recognize where that comes from? Right. So I just got the question, like, of my audience, I kind of want to know how many of you guys feel as though it's improper for a man to have a back and forth with a woman, whether it's a face-to-face conversation, whether it's an interaction that you have with someone on social media, whatever else. Like, how many of you feel as though that's somehow inappropriate for a man to have a back and forth with a woman in any sort of capacity where there's a disagreement? So, I'll as a matter of fact, I may pose that as a poll question on this particular episode. You guys can vote on that. And like I said, you can write into the show, you can call into the show, in the whole nine. But those are some of the things that was one of the things I was thinking about. Another thing I was thinking about. So I know we talk a lot about how bad the pandemic has been. People are depressed, man. People are, having a hard time not being able to spend time with family, not being able to kind of go out in the ways in which they're able to go out, not have to wear the damn mask and stuff. The glasses fogging up, like my shit be fogging up all the damn time. Like, you kind of wish that there was some level of normalcy or whatever else. And like, you want to get back to that, right? But here's the thing though. Although the pandemic has taken a lot of people from us, and it's been a very serious thing, man, there have been some small victories, man. Some small victories in the fact that we have this pandemic. One of the things we found out is that a lot of us could work from home, and our job's been bullshitting and not telling us that this whole time. We could have been doing a lot of this shit from the crib. Excuse me. Could have been doing a lot of this shit from the crib, and the jobs haven't necessarily it wasn't known until the pandemic came and it was absolutely necessary. Now it's gonna be hard to tell a motherfucker he got to be in the office when he been doing this shit for a year from the crib. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the benefits. That's one of the wins from the pandemic. Now, another win that we got from the pandemic, though, this is something I don't know if a lot of people really been thinking about, but I thought about this shit today. Do y'all know that the restaurant industry has been stepping up their carry-out container game, so much so that you ain't even got to buy Tupperware no more? Have y'all noticed that shit? The containers are fucking nice, dog. You get free dishes with your meal now, bruh. I remember there was a time, man, when we did keep the containers, it might have been from a real nice restaurant. It might have been Eddie V's or Ocean Prime or Morton's or some shit like that. We keep those oh, these are nice, man. Shit, I could eat this. It's about to be a cereal bowl or some shit like that, right? But now, nigga, everybody got them, bruh. Everybody got them. I'll be damned if I go out here and buy some Tupperware when all I gotta do is go get me some damn pepper steak from Starters and get me a damn bowl for free, dog. For free. This is been one of the biggest wins to me. One of the biggest wins that came out of being in this motherfucking pandemic is these goddamn free dishes, man. They dishwasher safe and everything, bro. Who'd have thunk? Who'd have thunk that it took the motherfucking pandemic for them to step their game up to give you some nice shit, man? Because you know how they would give you the styrofoam stuff, and sometimes the styrofoam, like your food be burning through the styrofoam. You're like, man, I don't know if I should even eat this shit on the edges, man. That shit don't even look right. But now they're giving you the real nice Tupperware-like fucking containers to put your shit in. You can warm your shit back up in them damn containers, man. You can recycle them motherfuckers as cereal bowls or whatever kind of bowls you want to use them bitches as. Man, I have been loving this, man. This has been a win. We got to count the wins when we can count the wins, man. Count the wins where you can count the wins, man. That's one of the things I've been thinking about. We've been kind of coming up on that. Real talk. Now, not while we're talking about counting wins, on a more serious note. So the trial of Derek Chauvin is over, and Derek Chauvin has been convicted on all 3 counts of the murder of, George Floyd. For a second I was like missing his name, but he has been convicted of the murder of George Floyd. And one of the things that I saw over the course of like the conversations about the conviction, well, better yet, one of the reactions that I was seeing more often than not were folks who were talking about or basically kind of coming down on people who were happy and wanted to celebrate and wanted to be happy about the fact that Derek Chauvin had been convicted. And I started seeing folks, being very pessimistic. Well, shit, we got to wait till the sentencing come, man, because, they might just give him 5 years, despite the fact that this man just got convicted of second and third and manslaughter, like second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and manslaughter. People are still like, man, he might only get like 5 to 10 years, man. That ain't shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So you got those pessimists and stuff, right? And it made me think, man, I was like, yo, man, like, it's okay to celebrate the wins. It's okay to do that. And I want people to have room to be able to do that. Now I know Ma'Khia Bryant, she was shot and killed by police just hours after the fact that Derek Chauvin had been convicted. And so, of course, that meant that folks went to immediately like, see, I told you we can't get too high on this shit, man. And I hear you. I understand it. But I think a lot of this comes from the fact that the amount of trauma that black folks have been facing or have dealt with in this nation has been a motherfucker, man. It's been a motherfucker. And so we are always like kind of ready for the other shoe to drop or the other fucking lash to come. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're always on guard for that, you can't necessarily, you kind of lose sight of the amount of progress that you've made, right? Because let's think about this for a minute. Last year, when this happened, how many of you, honestly, could have said that you thought Derek Chauvin was going to see any time whatsoever? Right? A lot of us didn't think that it was going to be possible. Like even with all of the protests and all of the video that we saw, like we watched this man, we essentially watched a snuff film thousands and millions of times over on social media, on the news. They kept showing it. We saw this man kneel like the breath out of George Floyd for the better part of 8-9 minutes, right? And so even with all of that evidence, and with all of the witnesses surrounding that, and with all of the police that came up to testify against him, and with all of the stuff that was going on, we still had folks who were just like, nah, they're not going to convict him, man. I don't know. I can't see it, man. This is America. You know what I'm saying? And so the fact the fact that he was convicted was a victory. Let's take that as it is. That is a victory, right? And one of the things I was kind of thinking about was the fact that I've been reading, I read a lot of stuff. I've been reading a lot of stuff. A lot of times I get it in audiobook form so I can read it while I'm at work, and then I cross-reference it with the digital copy so that I can kind of make notes and stuff like that. But I've been reading Where Do We Go From Here by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Over the course of the last few days or whatever. And really quick, I just kind of want to read this passage that he wrote. I don't even know exactly when he wrote this, but I want to read this passage to you guys. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull this up. I got too many damn tabs open, but let's see if I can pull this up. Let's where is it? Well, I'll be a monkey's bare ass uncle. I can't find this shit now. Is it this? Okay, yes, this is it. All right. So from this passage of where are we? Where do we go from here? Dr. King writes that meanwhile, frustration and a loss of confidence in white power have engendered many Negroes a response that is essentially a loss of confidence in themselves. They are failing to appreciate two important facts. First, the line of progress is never straight. For a period, a movement may follow a straight line and then it encounters obstacles and that path bends. It is like curving around a mountain when you are approaching a city. Often it feels as though you are moving backward and you lose sight of your goal, but in fact you are moving ahead and soon you will see the city again closer by. We are encountering such an experience today. The inevitable counter-revolution that succeeds every period of progress is taking place. Failing to understand this as a natural progress of development, some Negroes are falling into unjustified pessimism and despair. Focusing on the ultimate goal and discovering it's still distant, they declare that no progress has been made at all. This mood illustrates another fact that has been misinterpreted. A final victory is an accumulation of many short-term encounters. To lightly dismiss its success because it does not usher in a complete order of justice is to fail to comprehend the process of achieving full victory. It underestimates the value of confrontation and dissolves the confidence born of a partial victory by which new efforts are powered. And he goes on to say, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so wait. Here's the other part. So he goes on to say, the argument that the Negro has made no progress in a decade of turbulent efforts rests on demonstrable facts that paint an ugly picture of stagnation in many areas, including income levels, housing, and schools. But from a deeper perspective, a different conclusion emerges. The increases in segregated schools and the expanded slums are developments confined largely to the North. Substantial progress has been achieved in the South. The struggles of the past decade were not national in scope, they were Southern. They were specifically designed to change life in the South, and the principal role of the North was supportive. It would be a serious error to misconstrue the movement strategy by measuring Northern accomplishments when virtually all programs were applied in the South and sought remedies applicable solely to it. So I read that, and that was the most salient part that I read so far because of how much it applies to what's going on right now in this very moment, right? Ma'Khia Bryant didn't deserve to die. Let's just make this very, very, very clear. And the other sad part about this is that now we're starting to see people parse whether or not it was, they should have shot her because she had a knife and things of that nature. When we've seen police officers de-escalate situations with armed white folks all the time, right? Dylan Roof shot a bunch of motherfuckers. He shot 9 people in that church. They took him in alive. Kyle Rittenhouse shot 2 people at a demonstration in, I believe, in Kenosha, Wisconsin. That boy was able to go back home, right? They let that boy go back home after he killed 2 people. They brought him in alive. So it's possible for them to do it. The problem is we aren't necessarily afforded those same privileges. And so I want us to understand that, although we mourn for Ma'Khia Bryant, that doesn't take away from what we were just about to experience with George Floyd, right? We can also fight for the memory and the injustice for Ma'Khia Bryant, but that doesn't negate and that doesn't nullify what we just obtained with the victory of Derek Chauvin receiving a fucking conviction for murdering a citizen, an unarmed citizen, in broad daylight in front of tens of people and before millions of people around the world when that video hit the internet. So I just want us to, I want us to just be clear on that, man. It is okay, man. It is okay for us to celebrate our wins, right? It is okay for us to do that. And don't let nobody tell you that you can't do that. And those have been my random thoughts. It's time for us to get into the news. Oh shit. I'm sorry. We got some breaking news. All right. Our first story here in the breaking news has to do with COVID-19 because COVID-19 is all around us apparently. And this happened over in Spain. All right, but we get this story here. This comes from Madrid, Spain. The story comes from fox2detroit.com. But they say that a Spanish man with COVID-19 symptoms who coughed on work colleagues and told them, "I'm going to give you all the coronavirus," has been charged with intentionally causing injury and allegedly infecting 22 people. It says Spanish police said their investigation began after a COVID-19 outbreak at the company where the 40-year-old man worked on the Mediterranean island of Mallorca. Days before the outbreak, the man showed COVID-19 symptoms but refused his colleagues' suggestions to go home and self-isolate, police said in a statement. After work and showing no improvement, he went for a PCR test before visiting the gym and returning to work the next day. Though his supervisor told him he can go home after he allegedly had showed a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius, the man refused. He walked around his workplace, lowering his face mask and coughing on people, saying, "I'm going to infect you all with the coronavirus." At the end of the day, his PCR test came back positive. His colleagues were then tested with 5 returning positive results. They in turn infected family members, including 3 infants, police said. At the gym the man visited, 3 people tested positive and also infected family members. None of those infected required hospitalization, police said. A judge charged the man, who was not identified by police, and released him on Saturday evening to await trial, Spain's Europa Press news agency reported. So I'm gonna just say this right now, as you know, that's worthy of a well-whooped ass. I think we all clear on that. I think that's worthy of a well-whooped ass. The selfishness of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got people who are just essentially out here, man, they don't give a fuck about nobody and nobody else. And that's kind of how I feel about some of these anti-vaxxer people, man. It's like, y'all don't give a fuck about nobody else but yourselves, and your selfishness is kind of helping to perpetuate and, exacerbate this problem. Like, we could probably be almost over and done with this shit if more people would just kind of get on board, as opposed to, just kind of being contrarians for contrary's sake and shit, So, yeah. But that has been breaking news, y'all. And you know what, man? I'm actually kind of glad that we had some breaking news, because it gave me a time to remember that, we had some emails we had an email that we needed to get to. So let me go ahead and pull this email up so we can respond to that. Give me just a second while I can pull this up. And, all right. This email comes from Robert H. And Robert H. writes in to say, "Well, if nothing else, at least I can say you're consistent in your hatred for Republicans. But it seems as though you have a special hatred for Black Republicans. Why is that?" Really, man? Seriously? Are we really doing this today? Are we really doing this today? It said, "You played that clip of Alan West only to denigrate him. A very accomplished man, I might add. I would even venture to say he's way more accomplished than you." Okay, what's your point? That doesn't negate anything that I said about what he said. Whether he's an accomplished man or not, everything he kind of said in that fucking video was disingenuous, and I think you know that. And you couldn't even really refute the facts that he laid out about how the Republican Party has a history of helping your people. So you're not Black, I would assume. Helping my people, helping your people. But there you were, just ranting and raging and playing some obscure audio of Lee Atwater as if that was supposed to be some sort of smoking gun about how racist the Republican Party is. You should research your topics better, sir. Okay, well, you know what? You're absolutely right. I should just go ahead. I should wrap it up. I should never talk about how racist the Republican Party is again. I should forget the fact that, like, right now, Tucker Carlson is talking about replacement theory on Fox News and spreading out propaganda. I should forget about that, Marjorie Taylor Greene, a current Republican congresswoman out of Georgia, tried to start an America First caucus in the Congress that specifically spoke about promoting Anglo-Saxon ideals in politics and shit. I should forget about the fact that when it comes to police reforms, that a lot of Republicans tend to have a law and order sort of stance, but they didn't have that law and order stance when it came to other Republicans storming the fucking Capitol while there was a congressional hearing taking place. I can forget all of that. I mean, I can just kind of forget all of the things that are happening right in front of our fucking faces every goddamn day. But I mean, it's kind of hard, bro. It's happening it's right here, man. It's right in our fucking faces. So the thing is, what Alan West did is that, yeah, he spoke about some very factual things. I think everybody who has a brain, who has studied any sort of American history whatsoever, knows that the Republican Party at one point was a very progressive party. They're not a progressive party anymore. Why is it the Republican Party are the ones who are trying to keep us from destroying Confederate monuments? As a matter of fact, Republican Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida just signed into law an anti-riot bill that somehow has to do with like protecting Confederate monuments. Now, why is that? Why would any Republican want to preserve a Confederate monument? Unless, of course, the Republicans are supporting what the Confederates were about. Now, if you're going to tell me that the Confederates were Democrats at the time, yes, they were. But who's advocating for them at this moment? Who's advocating for them at this moment? When it comes to like voting rights going on right now, why are Republicans trying to strip people of their access to the ballot right now? That seems like that was a Democratic thing back in the day, right? Why are Republicans currently advocating for that? So you don't talk to me about why I would consider like Republicans racist, or better yet, why I have an extreme side eye for any black person that would want to be a goddamn Republican, especially in these goddamn times when we know that the vast majority of the policies that the Republican Party are promoting right now has absolutely nothing to do with the betterment of black people, and we see it all day long. We see it all day long. So, I mean, I don't know if I would say thank you for the fucking email, man. I just think, you kind of wanted to get your boy riled up. I think that's what it was. And truthfully speaking, I mean, I can get a little irritated with some of this, some of this foolishness, man, and this disingenuousness, because I don't think that was a very serious email. I think you pretty much know everything I'm saying right now is factually correct. But that's the other part about it. Like right now, y'all tend to like act as though facts don't matter anymore. You want us to act as though we shouldn't believe what our eyes are seeing, right? Donald Trump even said that, like, don't believe what your eyes are seeing and what your ears are hearing and shit. So, yeah, man, fuck you. And I wouldn't mind if you never wrote my show again. But that's been our listener feedback this week. And so now we can get into the news. All right. Now, our first story here in the news has to do with one Virginia state trooper who's been let go from the force because he showed up in a viral video of him bragging, or better yet, threatening a motorist gleefully in front of the video and commencing to like kind of whooping old boy's ass, man.
Well, I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Yeah, so we get this story. I didn't forgot where the fuck I was at on my pocket, man. Where are you at? Where you at? Come on, man. In the news. There we go. Jesus Christ, man. So yeah, we get this story here. As a matter of fact, I believe there's video attached to this.
All new at 11.
There is video. So let me go ahead and pull this video up so you guys can watch right along with me. Give me a second here while I share this screen here real quick. All right. So here we go. Let's see what they're talking about, y'all.
New at 11, a Virginia state trooper is under criminal investigation over a beltway encounter you see here. It was caught on camera. The trooper is shown threatening a driver and placing him in a chokehold. John Henry took a deeper look at this video.
Take a look at me. I'm a specimen right here, buddy.
April 20, 2019. Derek Thompson is pulled over by the Virginia State Police on the Beltway in Fairfax County. Trooper Charles Hewitt arrived after VSP said another trooper noticed Thompson had an expired inspection decal with a marijuana-like odor emanating from his car.
I feel unsafe.
After multiple requests, Thompson refuses to get out of his car, so Hewitt unlocks the door. Things quickly escalate from there.
You're going to get your whooped in front of Lord and all creation.
Hewitt counts to 3 before looking at Thompson's phone.
Watch the show. My life is in.
He then places Thompson in a chokehold before dragging him out of his car onto the road.
Sir, please get off my neck.
Now, more than a year later, that video has gone viral with the help of Thompson's attorney, Joshua Ehrlich.
Our focus at this point is making sure that Trooper Hewitt is appropriately disciplined, charged, if that's appropriate.
VSP announced Hewitt is on administrative leave. He's also the subject of a VSP criminal investigation. VSP superintendent commented Hewitt's actions were not in agreement with the established standards required of a Virginia trooper.
This is my client's worst moment. It was very hard for him to come to the decision that he wanted to go public.
And Ehrlich added, police never found any drugs in his client's car.
There is no reason at all for this to have escalated in the way that it escalated.
The Virginia State Police Association has yet to respond as to whether it or Hewitt wants to comment on this case. Thompson and Hewitt's entire interaction can be found on our website, WUSA9.com. John Henry, WUSA9.
All right. So, here's one of the things I think kind of happened here. I remember this video. They're talking about this going viral like a few weeks ago, but I remember this video going viral last year, right? And the reason why I think that this officer, this state trooper was, finally let go, was because of the fact that we just had some, what was that? What was the name of the, damn it. It just happened with the, what's my man name? I forget. With the Army lieutenant, just a couple weeks ago, that happened. And one of those officers were let go before, like, I know they did like their investigation and everything else. But I think right now with the conviction of Derek Chauvin and with that video of the officer who assaulted pretty much the Army lieutenant at the gas station being let go, I think that sort of pressure is what led to this happening now, right? Because they had up to a year. Like this happened last year. They've had a year to kind of discipline this dude, and for whatever reason, it took them a year to kind of figure out what the fuck it was that they was gonna do. But I do believe that because of all of the controversy and all of the attention that's being given right now towards police misconduct, and the fact that Derek Chauvin was convicted, and the other thing that happened in Virginia, I forget exactly what that town was right now. I think Windsor. That's what it was, Windsor. In Windsor, Virginia, that's what led to this dude finally being let go from his fucking position, right? Now, what progress would be on this, to me, outside of this guy being charged, was also not being able to, go to another police department and work as an officer again. I don't. If you're fired from policing, I don't think you should be able to kind of go back into another police department, and just like kind of pick up where you left off and shit, just and victimizing somebody else in another district. I don't believe you should be able to do that. I think that with the nature of that sort of work, you shouldn't be allowed to just kind of fuck up that way and still get that sort of work. I mean, maybe you go into private practice and become like a security expert or some shit like that, but you should not have the badge and the authority that comes with it to police people ever again if you're fired for that sort of misconduct. So, yeah, man, that's in the news. Another story that we got here in the news is, so colleges are getting prepared for the kids to come back to school and shit. And, they are asking more schools are basically mandating that you have at least more and more schools are mandating that you are vaccinated when you come back to school.
That'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Yeah, man. So we read this story here. This comes out of NPR. It says Duke University in North Carolina has announced that it will require students to have a COVID-19 vaccine when they return this fall, and the list of campuses with such policies is growing. Rutgers University in New Jersey was the first, and since then, more than a dozen residential colleges have followed. Notre Dame, 2 Ivy League schools, Brown and Cornell, and Northeastern University in Massachusetts are among those requiring the vaccine for fall. Cleveland State University will do so for all students living on campus. As vaccines become more widely available, it's likely that many more colleges will add their own mandates. 37 states are now vaccinating people over 16 years old, and by April 19th, all states in the U.S. will join them. Vaccinations are an important tool for making the fall semester safe, says Antonio Calcado, who leads the Rutgers COVID-19 task force. We felt that just simply encouraging would not have had the same effect as a requirement, because it wouldn't have. You have to make people do this if they want to continue to go, because we've seen this as they've made it optional. So many people feel as though well, fuck it then, I don't have to do shit. It's an option. They can't make me do this shit. But when it's going to get to a point where you're going to need to show your vaccinations for to fly, which, if you're traveling outside of the country, you've probably already done before. You've been vaccinated, had to show vaccination to get into these other countries. The tripped out part about all of this is that people are acting as though vaccination requirements for schools is some new shit. We acting as though we haven't been doing this. We haven't been operating like this for quite some time. I remember when I was going to Tennessee State, right? I had to, it was wild because, you know, again, I lived in Chicago with my aunt, my uncle, and my grandma at the time. My mother had passed away. You know, so trying to find like, and I had moved from Detroit back to Chicago. So it was like trying to find medical records to make sure that all of my vaccinations were up to snuff and shit to go back, like to go to school. I had to get that shit. This is back in 1999, 98. You know what I'm saying? So, and like we're acting as though 20 some odd years later, and I'm sure this was going on long before that, because in order for me to go to public school, I had to have been vaccinated. Many of you who are talking about y'all ain't never been vaccinated, y'all got vaccinated. Y'all just don't remember this shit. Because in order for your ass to go to these schools, your parents had to have your shot records, or maybe they forged some shit. Who the fuck knows, right? But the fact that COVID-19 is just in like or having a vaccination against COVID-19 is just an additional vaccination to all the other shit that you've probably been vaccinated against, like polio, mumps, and measles, and all this other shit. You've been vaccinated against all these other things, and they're making it, you know, required for you to have this. Because truthfully speaking, a lot of these schools don't want the lawsuits, man. Because here's one thing that we know about America, man. We are one of the most litigious countries in the world, right? We don't take responsibility for shit, nigga. We don't take responsibility for a motherfucking thing. And so here's what I think the schools saw happening. The schools saw that they were going to have kids come back to school unvaccinated because their parents are telling them, nah, you ain't got to get this shot, this, that, and other. They're trying to force it on you and all this other shit. Like totally forgetting all the other shit that they used to have to do for like to get in school or whatever, right? No, you don't have to get vaccinated. It's against our religion for you to get vaccinated. It's against this my beliefs as an American for me to be vaccinated. And all these reasons that they come up with, right? But what the school saw was this. You were going to come to school unvaccinated, and you were probably going to catch COVID-19. And then what was going to happen was this. Your parents would then say that the school didn't do enough to protect you from getting COVID-19. And then they would therefore sue the school. Excuse me, because again, like I said, we are a very litigious country. They would then sue the school over the fact that your ass got sick at their school because you didn't protect them when, in fact, they could have just vaccinated their asses before they got to the campus, right? And then we avoid all of this stuff. This is what the schools are seeing. And as a matter of fact, a lot of these businesses are also starting to see the same thing. Where, hey, man, like, a lot of these companies, and the Republicans fought this too. They fought for this to keep employers from being held responsible if there were COVID-19 outbreaks in their companies, because they were requiring people to work in unsafe conditions. And Republicans were fighting to keep it to where, like, okay, if there was a COVID outbreak at that workplace, that you couldn't sue them, right? But you couldn't sue these companies. So now that they lost on that battle. So now if you go to work and you are able to, if you catch COVID-19 or if they don't make it a safe work environment, you can hold them accountable for you having an unsafe working condition, right? So at a certain point, your job may require you to have a vaccination. I know my job didn't necessarily make it, my job didn't make it mandatory, but they damn sure made it a way for us to get it. I got my vaccination before like a lot of people. And I'm like, especially like when, like say for instance, like senior citizens and stuff like that. Like I got mine before a lot of senior citizens did, simply because of the nature of the work that I do. And also because the job is like, yo, man, we got to make sure our people who are going into these different houses and everything else are protected. And there's still a lot of guys at my job who won't necessarily take the vaccination, but a lot of us did because we had access to it. And so it's going to get to a point, man, where like, y'all keep saying y'all don't want to get these vaccines, but your jobs are going to start forcing this. Well, not necessarily forcing on it. They're going to make it mandatory for you to take this vaccine in order to continue to come to work. They're going to make it mandatory for you to take this vaccine in order for your ass to go to school. Like, it's going to become a thing, man, because as much as we want to get to herd immunity, one of the ways we can get to herd immunity is to get vaccinated. Y'all want to catch COVID to get herd immunity. That's stupid. Why would you want to do that? Why would you play like that? Like, that's dumb. So yeah, man, more colleges are requiring that the students who come back to school this coming fall are vaccinated against COVID-19. So that's in the news. Another COVID story here in the news, man. So here in Michigan, we've been seeing a huge spike in COVID-19 cases. But one of the things that's going on here is that like our children here in the state of Michigan are seeing a spike in COVID-19 diagnoses as well. As a matter of fact, we got a video here. So let me go ahead and pull this video up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Hold on, give me just a second here while I pull this up. All right. And let's see that tab here. All right. So here we go. Let's see what they're talking about. Channel 7 here in Detroit. Turn up.
K variant, which of course, as we've been reporting, is dominant here in Michigan. She says that's well, a doctor at Michigan Medicine know that the B117 or the UK variant, which of course we've been reporting is dominant here in Michigan. She says that seems to be upping household transmission. It's also believed to be more contagious, and in kids seems to be showing more symptoms.
We certainly have been seeing far more COVID in children lately.
A new study by the American Academy of Pediatrics and Children's Hospital Association shows Michigan standing out in some regard when it comes to kids and COVID. We're just one of a handful of states here in dark green, showing a greater increase in the percentage of child COVID cases in the first part of this month. Nationwide, there's been a 5% increase.
We're seeing a fair amount of transmission now amongst kids ages 10 and up. But really, the entire age of 10 to 15 and lower than that is not eligible for the vaccine. And so it's hard to think about how we're going to really stop the virus from spreading in those age groups.
Children overall have a much lower risk of death from the virus and tend to get less sick. One rare exception we saw locally this year, the El Khoury family, whose 4-year-old daughter Juliana ended up in the ICU after battling COVID with something called multisystem inflammatory syndrome.
It's still something that we're trying to digest. We still haven't really comprehended that.
Dr. Marissa Louie with Michigan Medicine says on top of coronavirus, they're seeing spikes in other viruses and respiratory illnesses in kids.
From what we can tell, the return to school within the school itself doesn't seem to really be associated with an increase in viral illnesses. What we think is happening is more the activities after school, households feeling more comfortable now and socializing.
Now, because kids are not eligible for the COVID vaccine at this point in time, Dr. Louie says it makes adherence to masking that much more important because that is really their main line of defense against this virus. Beginning Monday, keep in mind, Michigan statewide, that mask mandate will extend to kids ages 2 to 4. Reporting live this morning, Jen Shantz, 7 Action News.
All right. So here's the thing that I think is very interesting about this. Right now, here in the state of Michigan, we've got parents who are fighting for their children to be able to compete in athletics at school. We've got parents who don't want their children to go to school with masks. We've got parents who believe that COVID-19 doesn't really affect kids, right? That, we made COVID like sort of a zero-sum game, right? Where if you didn't die from it, then COVID-19 isn't that bad, right? And that's pretty much like sort of like the how people are kind of like rationalized how they maneuver when it comes to COVID-19. Is like, yo, well, they didn't die though. Like, no, man. But what are, again, as I've said on the show plenty of times, man, like, what are they surviving with? What are they living with? And so, like, do you really want to expose your children to possibly being one of those kids who are on a ventilator or in an ICU at a hospital if you could avoid having that happen, right? If you could avoid having that happen. I don't understand why, like, it's such a difficult decision for so many people to make. But, man, right now, Michigan is seeing a spike. And here's the other part. Like, I know a lot of folks were like, yo, man, Michigan was one of those states that had, like, the like lockdown restrictions and stuff like that, man. And y'all are seeing crazy numbers, man. They don't see those numbers in Florida, and Florida's been wide open for so long. And the first thing I would say to you is, like, I don't know if we should really be trusting Florida's numbers right now because Florida has been kind of playing funny with their shit for a long time. But also, like, it's been a year. Folks are tired. People are not necessarily being as vigilant about the shit as they were in the beginning. Let's just keep that a buck. Combine that with the hesitancy a lot of people are having about the vaccinations and things like that. So people want to be out and socialize and things like that. But again, as I've said on this show plenty of times, is like we want all of the privileges of of the A students without doing the A student work. We want to go out for recess, but we ain't did our homework. And so a lot of this is what kind of contributed to the spike that's happening here in Michigan when it came to COVID-19 cases, man. So I just want people to just like have as much information as they possibly can, accurate information, man. Like I know I'm not a journalist, man. I'm just a nigga that's like on a microphone and I talk my shit on the microphone every week. But I want to give y'all some like legitimate motherfucking information. I don't want y'all walking away from listening to this show like, man, Spann told me some bullshit. Nah, man. I want to give y'all legitimate information because I think it's prudent, and I think as someone who has kind of created a little niche for myself here, like, yo, I think it's responsible to give people like the accurate information that they can go forward with, and as we do this whole living thing and shit. So yeah, man, that's in the news. But yo, man, I'm tired of talking about COVID, man. So let's get out of the news. Let's go to Blue Blazers, y'all.
What in blue blazes is going on out here? This nigga just say blue blazes.
Because the other story that I had was essentially that like it's a bunch of people that's in hospitals right now who are like in ICU situations here in Michigan, and 99.9% of those people haven't been vaccinated. That was pretty much the story. Most of those folks haven't been vaccinated, and that's part of the reason why they are dealing with COVID right now. And outside of like maybe whatever socializations they've been doing and everything else. So, yo, man, it's time to get out of the news, man. But we in Blue Blazes. And although we're trying to get away from COVID, man, COVID is all around us, man. We can't even get away from COVID in Blue Blazes, man. Because we got one of those folks, man. We got one of those people who just think they special, man. They think they think shit don't apply to them, fam. Like everybody think that this shit don't apply to me though, man. It ain't gonna happen to me. But we got this story here. We got a super Karen out here. As a matter of fact, shout out to the Lake Travis Police Department because they took the super Karen off of the streets, man. She was a terrorist in a goddamn sweatshirt, man. Terrorist in a sweatshirt, man. And so we got this story here. This comes out of Fox 7 Austin. And this lady's name is Cara Bell. Put an N at the end of that Cara. What you get? What you get? Karen. You get Karen. Super Karen Bell. She's facing assault charges after not complying with the store's mask policy. So apparently she went to the Nordstrom Rack and decided that she was going to not wear a mask at the Nordstrom Rack, despite the fact that Nordstrom Rack required that you wear a mask. So here's the other thing that I think people kind of need to understand too. So like what happens is you'll have these states with Republican governors who will say that like, yo, so we don't have any mask mandates here. As a matter of fact, we're going to preempt any municipality that does have a mask mandate. We're going to state that they can't enforce that mask mandate because the state law, preempts that. Like we override that, so they can't do that, right? And so you get a bunch of people who will go to those states, believing that it's all wide open. Like, I ain't got to wear a mask down in Florida. I ain't got to wear a mask down in Texas. Shit, I need to be down there. I need to be down in Texas. I need to be down in Florida. I need to be down in Georgia, right? Got these places. And so what happens is you got businesses that are forced to like kind of enforce a mask mandate because again, they are accountable to their employees somewhat, right? Because like, again, so like they need to provide a safe working environment, and providing a safe working environment means, hey, we may need to enforce a mask mandate in our locations because if our employees get sick, because we didn't enforce one, they can therefore sue us, and now we on the hook for some cash that we don't really want to fucking give these people, right? So despite the fact that the state is preempting these mask mandates, a lot of these businesses are like, nah. Y'all ain't about to like fuck up our paycheck. Y'all ain't about to fuck up our money. So they are enforcing mask mandates in a lot of these businesses. This lady decided that she didn't want to wear a mask because it's Texas and she's an American and she's a God-fearing American, and goddamn it, I don't have to do this shit. It doesn't apply to me because I'm a goddamn American. It's my God-given right as an American. So we got this video here, man. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull the video up. She had a back and forth with the police, man. And the police essentially just got tired of her shit. But let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me. Hold on just a second here as we do this. All right. And here. All right, here we go. Let's see what she's talking about, y'all.
I am a Christian woman of God.
Seen here in this video,
A
Cara
Christian
Bell
woman of
being
God.
escorted out of Nordstrom Rack after not complying with the store's mask policy.
And you are not going to put your disgusting rules on me that are false and not true.
Nordstrom Rack says all shops.
Notice how, like, freely she talks to the police and shit. I mean, like, notice how she's basically telling them to get the fuck out her face, essentially. Right? Like, this is the disconnect that so many people have is like, yo, man, like, y'all can't de-escalate situations. We see people like this operate with police all the time, talking cash shit, and somehow they manage to get to these people without physically assaulting them, right? And I'm sure this lady would like kind of paint herself as a victim and shit, but she's being openly antagonistic towards the cops, man. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, man.
Shoppers must wear a face covering inside the store. According to a police report obtained by Fox 7 Austin, Bell was in a fitting room when confronted by a store employee for not wearing her mask. She then allegedly shoved the employee and police were called.
How many people did she shove?
She shoved me.
Okay.
So I blocked her path and she kept pushing, and so I put my arm out to block her from my entrance, and then she shoved me.
While police were arriving, Bell was still inside the dressing room, refusing to come out.
Is that your clothes or is that theirs?
That's theirs.
Okay, I need you to take it off and put your clothes on.
Okay, why?
Because they want for you to leave.
Nearly 15 minutes after police showed up, Bell left the store, upset with officers.
You are infringing on my rights.
She was charged with assault and let go. Bell is running for position 2 of the Lake Travis ISD school board. Lake Travis ISD told Fox 7 Austin that they're aware of the video, but said they cannot make a comment out of respect for the process of the election.
Now think about this for a second. Think about this. This person is running for school board. Could you imagine what those school board meetings would be like with this lady on the fucking board? Like, can you imagine some of the rules that we put in place with this lady on the fucking board? Could you imagine, like, having to live with this lady? Like, like, just think about that for a second. Like, this lady is a piece of fucking work. As a matter of fact, for those of you who've been watching them, I've been watching them and shit, right? And, like, I forget, that lady's name is Elizabeth. I forget her last name. But her name is Elizabeth. She's giving me really big Elizabeth vibes right now. You know? And also, while we're talking about them real quick, that shit could have been like a movie. It didn't have to be 10 episodes in no damn series. And like, they could have made that a movie. But, you know, y'all either way, this lady's giving me really big Elizabeth vibes right now. Like, she's like that extra. Like, that extra. She is that lady. She is super fucking Karen, y'all.
Adding she's not a district employee.
And I'm sick of being lied to, and it's not going to happen anymore. Do you understand?
Mayor Mark Brunner of Sunset Valley, in a statement to Fox.
Also, I'm sorry, but also, I like how these people tend to always frame the discussion as though they're being victimized by being asked to wear a mask the same way that every motherfucking body else in that damn establishment was being asked to wear a mask. The police officers that she's talking to right now have masks on their goddamn faces. They act as though they're being bullied, that they're being put upon, that their rights are being violated. Meanwhile, sane motherfuckers are like, yeah, bitch, it's a pandemic. It's a whole ass pandemic out here. People getting sick. 500,000 Americans then fell victim to this shit. Like, and even more, countless others are still suffering because they had infections from this shit. But they always frame this discussion. They want to be victims so fucking bad. And the reason, like, it's weird because you can tell they've never been victimized by much of anything. Because if this is the fucking fight that you're picking, you ain't never suffered from shit. Your life is peachy. You ain't never seen no fucking adversity at all. If this is the fight that you're picking because they asked you to wear a fucking mask at a goddamn Nordstrom Rack. Oh my God, man.
7 Austin said in part, they're currently operating under the county judge's mask order, which requires face coverings for individuals inside a commercial entity or other buildings open to the public. We reached out to Bell for comment, but once I identified myself as a reporter, she quickly got off the phone. 4 days after the initial encounter, another incident happened at the same store. A group of 10 to 12 anti-maskers showed up refusing to wear masks in protest of what had happened. Some claiming they had medical conditions, others saying it was discrimination.
No, they don't.
A few people in the group are current candidates for local office in Lakeway. We reached out to them for comment as well. We did not hear back.
Of course not. So, yeah, man. These people are fucking nuts, man. Like, and so here's the other part that I kind of want to, like, so when my people are talking about how they don't want to wear masks.
Nestled in northeastern Travis County, Community First Village is home to
that down. But with my people talking about how they don't want to wear masks, how they don't want to get vaccinated, you sound like these people to me, right? Like, and I know a lot of y'all don't really, y'all wouldn't fuck with someone like that, but y'all sound like her to me when y'all start bringing out these reasons as to why you wouldn't want to get vaccinated, why you shouldn't have to wear a mask, why you going over to these family gatherings and shit is all right despite the fact that you haven't been vaccinated, you won't be wearing a mask. Like, y'all sound like her to us, right? I mean, birds of a feather, right? You are the company that you keep, So, yo, man, that's in Blue Blazes. Another story that we got here in Blue Blazes, and again, like I said, it's America, man, and COVID will not leave us alone. But Ted Nugent has revealed that he also has gotten COVID-19. Yeah, so the reason why we kind of rejoice in the fact that Ted Nugent has, gotten COVID-19 is because Ted Nugent, big supporter of Donald Trump, called COVID-19, the pandemic, called it a straight up lie, called it a fake ass pandemic. So we read the story here. This comes out of clickondetroit.com. This is the NBC affiliate here in Detroit. It says right-wing rocker and Michigan native Ted Nugent took to Facebook this week to announce he tested positive for COVID-19 and experienced severe symptoms for 10 days. In a live video Monday night, Nugent said he had flu symptoms for 10 days and that it made him feel like he was going to die. I literally could hardly crawl out of bed the last few days. I was officially tested positive for COVID-19 today, he said in a video laden with graphic language and completely false statements about vaccines. Because of course. Nugent, 72, had called COVID-19 not a real pandemic in his video Monday. He said people told him he shouldn't announce that he tested positive. You know why they wanted you to... The reason why they didn't want you to tell people that you had tested positive was because of this. If you tested positive for COVID-19, then everything that you had said previously was bullshit. They don't want you to announce said bullshit. They don't want you to announce that you had it because it means that everything that you said previously was bullshit and they believe bullshit. It's a weird sort of fucking... I know people are finding tribes. They're finding their tribes and shit, but like, when you're surrounded by people who like are totally rejecting factual information because the factual information runs counter to the shit that they just simply want to believe in, you might be with the wrong fucking group of folks, right? And unfortunately, too many people on the right are finding themselves rejecting factual information because it doesn't fit with what they believe politically. And if Donald Trump told them that this was a phony pandemic, if Donald Trump told them that COVID-19 wasn't that bad, it's just another flu, this motherfucker just said he was about to die. He felt like he was about to die. I don't want nothing that's going to make me feel like I'm about to die, fam. So why not do the things that y'all could do to like prevent that shit from happening? You know what I'm saying? I can't be out here dying, man. I got shit to do tomorrow. What the fuck, bro? So... it says Nugent, a loud supporter of ex-President Donald Trump, also has called the pandemic a scam and complained about public health restrictions. A poll by the Associated Press, Nork Center for Public Affairs Research in late March found that 36% of Republicans said they would probably or definitely not get vaccinated, compared to 12% of Democrats. The 7-day national average of cases remains over 60,000 new infections per day. So, COVID gonna be with us for a little while, man, because we got so many people around us that just, I mean, they want to be stupid, and I know it's America, and you gotta kind of let people be dumb, but just don't let them be dumb around you. You know what I'm saying? So that's in the news. I mean, I'm sorry, that's in Blue Blazes. Now another story that we got here in Blue Blazes, and this ain't got shit to do with COVID, man. This ain't got shit to do with COVID, y'all. But we got this story here. This comes out of Florida because, of course, it was Florida, right? Now, I remember the school of thought that believes in faking it till you make it, right? Like, you know, you can fake it, like you fake like you know some shit, you know what I'm saying? And then suddenly, like, you around a certain group of folks, man, you find out you start picking up shit through osmosis, and then lo and behold, damn it, you done learn some shit, and you damn it, you belong. You know what I'm saying? But that don't apply to all cases. Doesn't apply to all cases. And so, in this particular story, we find a couple in Florida who wanted to get married in a mansion. And they invited people to come watch them get married in the mansion. As a matter of fact, they were talking about hosting the wedding and the reception at the mansion. Here's the rub. The mansion that they were talking about, like having the wedding in, they never really got permission to have said wedding at that mansion.
Got him! Got him!
Yeah, man. So, do I have video? I do have video to this. I do have video. So let me pull this video up, man. Cause I'm gonna just say this right now, man. When I first heard this story, I just knew this was some white folks. But it was us, man. It was fucking us. I was like, oh shit. If we was playing Guess the Race on Black Guy Tips, man, your man Spann would have fucking lost. I'm gonna just say that right now. But yo, man, it was a black couple talking about trying to have a wedding at a mansion that they did not have permission to have said wedding at. So let me go ahead and pull the story up. Do I have the video up here? Okay, I do. So let me go ahead and play this so y'all can see what's going on. And let me unmute the shit. Fine.
This couple showed up here 9 o'clock in the morning, reportedly with
rewind
this shit. Thank you. Well, you're going to want to listen to this next story. Boy, a couple tried having their dream wedding at a beautiful South Florida mansion.
Only problem was it was occupied and the owner wasn't even aware of it. NBC6 reporter Marissa Bagg is live in Southwest Ranches with this bizarre details. And Marissa, it's only in Florida, right?
Certainly sounds like it, Jackie. This couple showed up here 9 o'clock in the morning, reportedly with chairs, with vendors, ready to set up for what they were calling their royal wedding. They quickly found out that it wasn't going to happen, but they didn't leave until police got involved.
Nigga, the police had to show up.
The wedding of their dreams for one South Florida couple ended before it began. This wedding website for Courtney Wilson and Shanita Jones says the couple was scheduled to get married at the Wilson Estate in Southwest Ranch.
Hey man, real talk. Hold on. Let me rewind this a little bit. Let me rewind it just a little bit, cause they show their picture and shit, right? So hold on a second.
To get married at the Wilson Estate in Southwest for Courtney Wilson and Shanita wedding website for they didn't leave until police got involved.
Okay, for those of you guys who are watching live right now, don't this couple look like the kind of couple that wear matching outfits every motherfucker where they go? Like that couple, this your aunt and your uncle that show up to the cookout and they both got on blue jean outfits and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he got the Levi's like jean jacket and the Levi's jeans on. She got the Levi's jean jacket and jeans on, and they both rocking a pair of K-Swiss. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know the couple. Y'all know the couple. This the couple that show up to the motherfucking Thanksgiving with the matching fucking like hoodie and sweatsuit, like the sweatsuit, no, like the hoodie and sweatpants and shit, and they airbrushing shit. And he wearing her face and she wearing his face, and it's airbrushed on the motherfucking sweatshirt and shit because they that much in love with each other, right? They call themselves the royal couple on this thing, right? They call themselves the royal couple. As a matter of fact, this nigga told them when the owner confronted them about, hey man, this is my house, y'all ain't about to have no wedding here. This nigga actually referred to his talk with God. He said it was God's will that it happened here. Now, I'm not a terribly religious man. I have religious beliefs, but I'm not a terribly religious man. Did you in your God's emails get misconstrued? Are you in the spam box when it comes to God? You know what I'm saying? Is God looking at your shit like, man, I don't know, man, put him on like red. Like I ain't really read that shit, but like, you know, put him on red. I ain't really, you know, he been acting up lately, you know? Like, and I'm just thinking about like, yo, so like, think about how do you have the gall to like, yo, see somebody's house and say, fuck it, I'm gonna have my wedding there and I ain't asking them shit. You know what I'm saying? That's more like,
Oh, yeah. There is powerful niggardry at work here.
it gotta be. I say it gotta be. So yeah, man, these niggas, man.
The wedding of their dreams for one South Florida couple ended before it began. This wedding website for Courtney Wilson and Shanita Jones says the couple was scheduled to get married at the Wilson estate in...
Hold on. Here's another thing I didn't think about, though. Right? Here's another thing I didn't think about. They said hashtag the royal couple. Now, I don't know. Could this be? It's a stretch. But could this be yet another piece of, in the black community, pseudo-consciously based offenses are considered especially heinous. In the Yonk right, the dedicated misogynists who perpetuate frauds are members of an elite squad known as a special Hotep unit. These are their stories. Could these niggas be Hoteps? And I say that because, you know, we was all kings, right? We was all kings. We had all the gold, man. The richest person in the world, man, from time immemorial was Mansa Musa, man. And he had like hundreds of billions of dollars and shit back in the day, man. He had all the gold, man, all the women. He was like, we was royalty. We was pharaohs. We was kings. And that's why they get the, like, you know, royal wedding shit. Unfortunately for them, you know, it didn't really ring true, you know? Didn't really ring true.
Southwest Ranches this past Saturday, but the 9-bedroom, 13-bath, sprawling 16,000 square foot property
house
belongs to someone else.
That's a nice ass
When
house.
the wedding party showed up Saturday morning to set up, the homeowner called 911.
I have people trespassing on my property, and they keep harassing me, calling me, and they say they're having a wedding here, and it's God's message.
Perturbed and confused, homeowner Nathan Finkel asked police to tell them to leave.
Sitting on my property right at the front gate right now. I don't know what's going on. All I want is to stop.
David.
You know what's funny? That sounds like an older white man. You know what I'm saying? That sounds like an old white man who just like, man, I don't know what's happening here. I don't know why these black people are on my property right now. I'm not even racist, man. I just want these niggas to get the fuck off my shit, man. I don't know what's going on here. Like, could you imagine, like the security guard at the gate, right? Because there's always a brother at the gate. The security guard at the gate, and they talking about, like, hey, man, hey, brother. We having a wedding here, man. You know, I just need you to open up the gates so we can get the chairs set up, man. You know, we got the tables and shit. The DJ got to come here, man. I need you to go ahead, go ahead, open up the gates so we can get shit set up, man. So we go ahead and get these nuptials going and cracking and whatnot, man. I mean, we can bring you some cake. You know what I'm saying? Because we got plenty of food. We got plenty of food. My Uncle Earl, he been like barbecuing and shit all week, nigga. So we got plenty of food, and we gonna take care of you, man. We just need you to open up this gate. And dude at the gate is just like,
Negro, please.
Like, Negro, please, man. Y'all don't belong here, man. Y'all don't fucking belong here. Oh, my God.
They say the group left as soon as they were asked to go, so no charges were filed. But the family is stunned, calling it absurd.
That is a nice
I don't know.
house.
I mean, that's kind of silly to assume that you're just going to be allowed on the property.
The property is for sale for $5.7 million. Friends of the family say Wilson toured the estate over a year ago, as if he was interested in buying it, but never got permission for a wedding party. Still, elaborate and descriptive wedding invitations went out to friends and family. Although it irked the Finkel family, much of the neighborhood found it hilarious.
Funny.
And what's funny about it?
The whole thing, that somebody has enough nerve to do something like that.
We found the couple and found a friend of the bride's in Northwest Miami-Dade. She told us Wilson and Jones did in fact get married on Saturday, but in a nearby park. The website for their nuptials has since been taken down.
All right, man. So, man, listen. I bet like I kind of wonder, real talk, I kind of wonder because was this part of an episode of like Bridezilla? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the people who watch WeTV and shit. You know, I watch Love at the Lockup. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's my jam. Is this an episode of WeTV? I'm sorry, Bridezilla's coming up. Because I get the sneaking motherfucking suspicion that like, maybe, just maybe, she demanded that like, yo, we gonna get married in a goddamn in a mansion because I am a queen. And a queen deserves a royal wedding, and you gonna give it to me. And he tried, man. This motherfucker went out there act like he was gonna buy the house. He ain't got no motherfucking $5 million just laying around, bro. He ain't got that kind of money. But yo, man, he acted as though he was gonna buy the house a year before, bro. A year before, and and it was basically like a scouting mission. This is like, yeah, this might be the spot. This might be it right here, nigga. I can get married up in this motherfucker. Don't look like nobody live in this bitch, nigga. This might be it. Yeah, baby. This might be it right here. You know? So yeah, man. Yo, man, a Florida couple, they tried to get married in the goddamn mansion. They had no permission to be on, man. I swear to God, I didn't think it was gonna be us, man. I didn't think this was gonna be us. But it was us. And that's in Blue Blazers. That's funny. Another story that we got here in Blue Blazers. This has to do with Kellogg's cereal, man. So Kellogg's has decided they're going to come out with a glittery heart-shaped cereal for Pride, for Pride Month this year. So we get the story here. This comes out of simplemost.com. It says June is Pride Month, and in celebration, Kellogg's is releasing a new heart-shaped cereal in 2021. Created in partnership with GLAAD, the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, together with Pride cereal is berry flavored, and the colorful pieces are topped with glitter as well. The cereal will hit store shelves nationwide in mid-May and will be available for a limited time. The 7.8-ounce boxes have a suggested retail price of $3.99, and Kellogg's will donate $3 to GLAAD for every box purchase. Be sure to upload your receipt to Kellogg's Family Rewards to make sure your donation counts. It says the delicious new recipe features berry-flavored rainbow hearts dusted with edible glitter, Kellogg said in a statement. The cereal marks the latest chapter in a years-long partnership with GLAAD and is the evolution of the fan-favorite All Together cereal, which previously was available online only. Kellogg Wellbeing tweeted about the special edition cereal, writing, "All are welcome to the breakfast table with our new Together with Pride cereal coming to shelves soon. For every box sold, Kellogg is donating $3 to GLAAD to support the LGBTQ plus community," says Kellogg Company. So, first of all, shout out to Kellogg's for stepping up in that way for the LGBTQ plus community. Second of all, of course, as we talked about last week with Lil Nas X with that email we got from Reggie. The predictable motherfuckers showed up, and it's interesting that, one of the prevailing kind of restraints that I saw, comments that I saw made by people who are just uneducated about LGBTQ issues, are not necessarily interested in learning about LGBTQ issues, or just flat out bigots, is that they always tend to reduce the LGBTQ community about the kinds of sex that they have. And so you saw a lot of folks talking about how they're forcing this on the kids because Tony the Tiger and Toucan Sam and I think the Snack Crackle and Pop are part of on the box and stuff like that. And they were talking about how they were forcing this on the kids and stuff like that. And first things first, man, ain't nobody forcing you to buy this goddamn cereal, man. If you don't want to buy the cereal, don't buy the fucking cereal, bruh. That's just a thing. The second thing about this is this. And I know people keep talking about they're trying to protect the kids. Everybody talks about they're trying to protect the kids. And ultimately, it's not necessarily about them protecting the kids. It's about them protecting their own mental well-being. Because truthfully speaking, the kids don't give a fuck. I think more and more we're learning that when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community, a lot of times the kids are well past where their parents think they are when it comes to accepting the LGBTQ plus community and that lifestyle, or the way that these people, the way that these people live. They're more accepting of that than their parents are, right? And so what happens is this, and this is the thing that I think this is just kind of how I view things now, is that when you view everything through a sexual lens, you also believe that your kids only see these things through a sexual lens because it's all you understand. And so what happens is, because you only see these things through a sexual lens, you assume that your kids learned of this, or maybe their learning of this comes through a sexual lens when it doesn't. Many of your kids may have friends who have parents that are of the LGBTQ plus community. Many of your kids have friends who have two moms. Many of your friends have kids who have two dads. Many of your friends may have kids who have parents who are polyamorous, right? And to them, it's like, oh, so you got two dads. Great. Oh, so you got two moms. Okay, that's cool. They don't care because it doesn't matter to them, right? And so what happens is this. While y'all talking about y'all trying to protect these kids, like really it's about you and your sexual hangups and your lack of knowledge about these particular issues. So what happens is, because your knowledge isn't necessarily as advanced, you think your kids' knowledge may not be as advanced, and therefore your kids shouldn't be able to talk about it. Your kids should be shielded from this because you haven't been able to talk about this or absorb this information or absorb this community outside of thinking about what they're doing in the bedroom. That's where you are. And you think that the kids need to be protected from that. Meanwhile, the kids are well past that. They, as a matter of fact, well past you. And more in these cases, more often than not. So when it comes to these, when it comes to the TV shows and the cereal and the commercials and all of these things, you keep talking about, man, they keep forcing this down our throats, man. It's part of the gay agenda, man. They're trying to make our kids gay. Like, no, if your kid's gonna be gay, the kid's gonna be gay. No cereal is gonna make them gay. No clothing is gonna make them gay. No movie they watch is gonna make them gay. No TV show that is gonna make them, like, none of that shit's gonna happen because they absorb this other shit. If they're gay, they're gay. If they're bi, they're bi. If they're like all of these different things, right? You think that these outside influences are making your kids who they are. No, this is who they are. What we're finding out, because people aren't necessarily being persecuted in the ways they were being persecuted, back in the day. Things are a lot more open now. What you're finding out is that, yo, man, these kids are more free to express themselves. And unfortunately, you find yourself being one of those bigots. You find yourself being one of those bigots. And so, yeah, man, shout out to Kellogg's for, coming out with the cereal and contributing to the LGBTQ community in that way, man. Is another way for a company to step up and be socially conscious and be socially responsible. And so, yo, man, I want to give them a salute. And that has been Blue Blazers.
What in Blue Blazers is going on out here? Did this nigga just say Blue Blazers?
All right, now Annette is in the chat room. I think she's still talking about the she's still talking about the the couple at the mansion. She's like, they think they belong there. Of course they think they belong there. They hoteps. I guarantee they hoteps. I guarantee they is some hoteps. So yeah, man. That has been Blue Blazers, but y'all know what time it is. Yeah, that's enough of that shit. It's proud to be an American time here at the Spann Report podcast. And our first story here in Proud to be an American has to do with Apple, man. Yeah, Apple is in Proud to be an American. I know. Y'all thinking, man, here this nigga go, man. He talking shit about Apple. We know, nigga. We know. We get it. You an Android guy, Spann. We get it. It ain't even that kind of party, though. I swear to y'all, it ain't even that kind of party. The reason why Apple is in Proud to be an American is apparently Apple has thought it might be a good idea to bring Parler back into, their app store, man. God damn! Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we get this story here. This comes out of the denverchannel.com. This is their Channel 7. I'm sorry, their ABC affiliate out in Denver, Colorado. Excuse me. And the article reads as so. It says Apple has said it is in agreement to reinstate Parler, the social network popular with supporters of former President Donald Trump. It kicked off its app store in January after ties to the deadly siege on the U.S. Capitol. In a letter to two Republican lawmakers in Washington, Apple said it has been in substantial conversations with Parler over how it plans to moderate content on its site and that a Parler proposal for revising its app. On Monday, Congressman Ken Buck tweeted that they received a response and Parler will be reinstated on the App Store. Huge win for free speech. Parler's mobile app was removed from Apple's App Store and Google's Play Store days after the riot at the U.S. Capitol. At the time, the tech giant cited the riots and the app's refusal to crack down on misinformation. Before its removal from the App Store, Parler was a hotbed of hate speech, Nazi imagery, and conspiracy theories. According to the Associated Press, Apple says that the app should be immediately available following proposed changes Parler has agreed to. Apple declined to comment beyond the letter. Now, here's the thing, man. They say that they're going to moderate that app better. Okay, I guess. They say that Apple has been in discussions with them as to how they could moderate that app better. All right, whatever. What this basically speaks to me, though, is that when it comes to like the corporate sort of response to a lot of the social issues that are going on, it all comes down to the bottom line. It's not as though these companies are doing this shit because they're benevolently doing this shit more often than not. And the bottom line spoke to the fact that, like, conservatives tend to believe that we're being more biased towards them. So, like, if we could bring this app back and, maybe get some concessions from the app to curb some of the other shit that they had going on, as far as like some of the hate speech and some of the imagery that they were promoting there, maybe we should bring them back into the App Store. I'm just cynical about this, man. I just kind of feel like, if you thought that they were kind of fucked up, right? If you thought that they were fucked up, do you really believe that after about, 4 months, they're no longer as fucked up as they were 4 months ago? You really think they've learned their lesson after 4 months? I don't know, man. I simply don't know. And because of like some of the rhetoric that is coming out of the right, as of late, I don't think they learned their lesson at all. As a matter of fact, I believe they kind of like doubled down on quite a bit of their shit. So the fact that Apple is deciding that maybe they would bring back Parler to their App Store, it was like, I guess, But, y'all get the heads up, Apple. Y'all get the heads up. Y'all get all of the apps, right? Y'all get all of the apps, right? Y'all get all. So they come to y'all first. And apparently Parler is coming back to y'all shit too. So, that's in Proud to Be an American. Another story that we got here in Proud to Be an American is, and we talked about this earlier as we were responding to that email that we got from Robert. Marjorie Taylor Greene calls off the America First caucus following backlash that she got from not only the left, but the right as well, man. So we get the story here. This comes out of Forbes.com. It says Marjorie Taylor Greene is abandoning her plan to launch a right-wing congressional group dubbed the America First Caucus after the publication of a 7-page platform vowing to protect Anglo-Saxon political traditions by congressional newsletter Punchbowl News, her spokesperson told Forbes. She's not planning on launching it at this time, the spokesperson said, adding that it was in the early planning stages, but that the publication of the document by Punchbowl blew it all up. Greene spokesperson Nick Dyer had told Forbes earlier Saturday the platform was never approved or agreed to by Congresswoman Greene, with Greene calling it a staff-level draft proposal for an outside group that I hadn't read in a subsequent statement. Paul Gosar, Republican from Arizona, who was reported to be planning the group with Greene, claimed in a statement to have first learned of the platform by reading about it in the news yesterday like everyone else, adding, "Let me be perfectly clear, I did not author this paper." Gosar also suggested he wouldn't be joining the splinter group, vowing to continue to work on America First issues in the House Freedom Caucus, an established right-wing caucus that has reacted negatively to the emergence of a new group. The statements comes amid a backdrop of widespread condemnation of the platform by Republicans, including House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, GOP Conference Chair Liz Cheney, and Representative Ken Buck of Colorado, a member of the Freedom Caucus. I'm going to just say this right now. It doesn't surprise me in the least that Republicans would see or would at any point in time think that this would be a good idea, right? Now, I know that there are Republicans, high-profile Republicans, coming out saying, well, we don't approve this sort of shit right here. But but ultimately, like, a lot of the rhetoric that they've been promoting kind of lends to this shit right here. Kind of lends to this. And it's amazing to me because so many Republicans do one thing, or they say one thing and then they do another. And it kind of like reminds me of what's going on right now with former House Speaker of the House, Republican John Boehner. John Boehner has been going on a book tour as of late, promoting his new book. He's been talking about how the Republican Party is now crazy town, how the Republican Party, while he was Speaker of the House, he became mayor of Crazy Town while he was Speaker of the House. And the ways in which he's been talking about it, and also in some of the interviews that I've seen of him during this book promotion, he's been getting a lot of softball interviews, man. Not necessarily taking into account like his ability to have supported more substantial gun legislation when it came to some gun control. Especially during, like, say, for instance, right after Sandy Hook, Republicans pretty much gutted that. He was Speaker of the House then. And so now to, like, hear him talking about how, the Republicans should get behind some better forms of gun control, like, nigga, you had the opportunity to do that while you were House Republican. Speaker of the House. But ultimately, despite all of his criticisms of the current Republican Party, and despite all of his criticisms that he would level at someone like a Donald Trump and everything else, he ultimately voted for these motherfuckers. So despite all of this damn rhetoric and everything else, they talk all this shit, yet they do another. They think you stupid. And far too often, plenty of motherfuckers are proving them to be right. Right? So you've got Republicans who are out here talking about, yeah, so this whole, like, Anglo-Saxon thing, like, we don't want to, like, dive into these nativist dog whistles and everything else. Like, why not? This is what y'all been doing. Y'all are who we thought y'all were. Right? So, yeah, man. They scrapped it now only because it's gotten the attention that it's gotten so far. But they were always planning on doing this. And this is yet another reason why I will side-eye any black Republican. Like, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because they don't give a fuck about you. As a matter of fact, people within your own party are telling you, like, yeah, man, fuck what you talking about. We really about this Anglo-Saxon shit. So, yeah, either get on the train or get left the fuck behind. But this is what the Republican Party is now. So that's in Proud to be an American. Another story that we got here in Proud to be an American is apparently Republicans, again, are trying to do a recount in the state of Arizona, a state that Joe Biden won in the last presidential election in 2020. Yeah, man. So we get this story here. Let me pull up the story. But we get this story here from... Where do we get the story from, man? This comes out of Forbes as well. All right. Forbes out here doing yeoman's work and shit. It says a judge on Friday afternoon ordered Arizona's presidential election recount to stop over the weekend, according to local reports, but the count will now go on because Democrats have refused to put up $1 million to cover the cost of possible wrongful delays after the party brought a lawsuit to block the recount, taking place well over 5 months after the election day. The state Senate ordered an election audit which involves a hand recount of more than 2 million Maricopa County ballots beginning Friday. The Arizona Democratic Party filed a lawsuit Thursday to stop the recount, claiming the recount held almost 100 days into President Joe Biden's term is a sham audit that has been corrupted by agitators and conspiracy theorists. The recount is being overseen by Doug Logan, CEO of the Florida-based company Cyber Ninjas. Really, nigga? Cyber Ninjas? Which is chosen by the Republican-led, of course it was, Senate to lead the audit. Logan is also known for making the absurd claim a company tied to long-dead Venezuelan dictator Hugo Chavez somehow rigged voting machines as part of a conspiracy against former President Donald Trump. Now, let me get this straight. Let's get this straight. You mean to tell me that the Republican Party is ordering a recount to be done in the state of Arizona, And the person that is at the head of the recount is a dude who said there was a conspiracy theory that had the voting machines changing votes from Donald Trump to Joe Biden. And that's the guy over the fucking recount? Come on, man. Come on, man. We can't be this gullible. We can't be this stupid, bruh. Like, it's right there in front of you, baby. It's right there in front of you. It says Logan is also known for making the absurd claim that the company tied the... I already read that part. It says the recount pause would have gone into effect at 5 p.m. local time and have been effective until noon on Monday if Democrats paid the $1 million bond, which would have been held to reimburse the Senate for any wrongful expense due to the pause. I'm going to just tell y'all this right now, man. They know damn well that Donald Trump didn't win that election. They know this. But if they can keep enough people engaged in the big lie, then they can continue to run into 2022, I believe, which is the midterm elections. They can run into 2022 with ammunition from whatever the fuck they call themselves finding from this purely fucking political recount. Like, come on, man. Like, the legitimacy is the legitimacy of this is already within like who's... No one should be really taking this seriously. But it is what it is. And the Republicans are who we thought they were. And that has been proud to be an American. All right, that's enough of that shit. But y'all know what time it is.
The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here.
All right. It's Champ of the Week time here at the Spann Report Podcast, man. And our Champ of the Week this week here at the Spann Report Podcast is none other than Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams is the Champ of the Week this week here at the Spann Report. And the reason why Stacey Abrams is Champ of the Week is because Stacey Abrams has been catching a lot of flack from a lot of Republican legislators as of late. Stacey Abrams was instrumental in flipping Georgia from red to blue. We got 2 Democratic senators out of the state of Georgia. And Joe Biden won the state of Georgia because of her efforts in getting people registered to vote and getting people engaged to voting in that state. And after Georgia decided that, we can't have this, and changed the rules as far as voting laws were concerned, a lot of Republicans are like trying to act as though Stacey Abrams don't know her shit. And like, it's kind of wild knowing that what we know of Stacey Abrams. Like, if anything, Stacey Abrams knows her shit. I can't wait for an opportunity to be able to vote for Stacey Abrams. I'm sure her name is going to come up on a national platform at some time, and we will have a chance to vote for this sister. But Stacey Abrams was being questioned by congressional Republicans about her opposition to the new Georgia voting laws, and they didn't think that she was going to be able to answer the questions that she had for them. Sadly for them, she was she was well prepared for the occasion. So let me go ahead and pull this video up. I thought I had it saved in my pocket, but I don't. I thought I did, but let me go ahead and pull this up. So bear with me for a second here. Stacey Abrams and was it Joe Kennedy? Is that this dude's name? John Kennedy. All right, let's see. John Kennedy. All right. So he asked her whether or not she would be able to answer to like what she was, or better yet, whether or not she knew, or what was her objections to this law. And she was able to kind of like just run down a list, so much so that he got overwhelmed with the shit. He thought he was going to try to trip her up, and he did not trip her up at all. And so let's go ahead and pull this up so we can watch together as a family. And here, all right, I believe this is it. So here we go. Let's see. Okay, we don't really care about Brian Williams' commentary at all, though.
John, no relation, Kennedy of the great state of Louisiana. He's the one.
Yeah, let's get to the shit. Let me fast forward this a bit. All right. I think this is it.
You're against the Georgia bill, I get it. Is that right?
I'm against certain provisions of it, yes.
Okay, and I think you've called it a racist bill. Am I right?
Uh-oh.
Since even before the 2020 election, people on the right, led by the Florida man, warned of massive voter fraud, the likes of which we've...
What the hell is happening here? I didn't mean... Hold on a second.
But that did not stop.
I'm sorry. It's acting all the way up.
I think they're racist, yes.
Okay. Tell me specifically, just give me a list of the provisions that you object to.
I object to the provisions that remove access to the right to vote, that shorten the federal runoff from 9 weeks to 4 weeks, restrict the time that a voter can request and return an absentee ballot application.
Slow down for me, because our audio is not real good here. Okay, what else?
It bans nearly all out of precinct votes.
Bans what? I'm sorry.
It bans nearly all out of precinct votes.
Okay.
Meaning that if you get to a precinct and you are in line for 4 hours and you get to the end of the line and you are not there between 5 and 7 p.m.
Okay.
What else? You have to start all over again.
Is that everything?
No, it is not. No, sir. It restricts the hours of operation because it now, under the guise of setting a standardized timeline, it makes it optional for counties that may not want to see expanded access to the right to vote. They can now limit their hours. Instead of those hours being from 7 to 7, they're now from 9 to 5, which may have an effect on voters who cannot vote during business hours during early voting. It limits the...
Okay, I get the idea. I get the idea.
He got the idea.
So
he thought he was stumping her, and she stumped all the way the fuck over him, man. So shout out to Stacey Abrams. She's the champion this week here at the Spirit Report Podcast. But she's not the only champ of the week this week here at the Spirit Report Podcast. I'd like to also extend the champ of the week this week to my aunt Elena, man. So the reason why my aunt Elena is the champ of the week this week is she just turned, well, I'm not gonna tell y'all how old she is, that's a thing. That's a thing. But like today is her birthday, man. And the thing is for me is like when my mom passed away, my aunt Elena and my uncle Billy, they were like 28, 29 when they took, me and my brother in along with my grandmother. And to be 28 and 29 and bringing in like a 17 and a 15-year-old kid to raise is a lot, especially when you got your own kid to raise. And they did that like at the request of my mother. I found out later on that at the request of my mother, they did that. And I don't know like how my life would have turned out had it not been for them stepping up in that way. Like even when it came to the school choice that I ended up, like the school that I ended up going to when I was in Chicago, changed my life, man. Like the people that I was able to meet, the experiences that I was able to have because of them, some of the things that I was able to learn while, just kind of like through osmosis being around my Uncle Billy and stuff like that. And like the selflessness that they had to like bring us in, man. I know a lot of folks, man, like people have godparents and stuff, right? And I don't know if people understand what the responsibility of godparents really is. A godparent is supposed to be a person who steps up in the event to take care of your children in the event that you are no longer able to. And like a lot of folks kind of tend to like think of their godparents as like, okay, so who can buy my kids something for their birthdays and on Christmas and shit. But truthfully, I've never had any godparents, but at that particular moment, I think like my Aunt Elena and my Uncle Billy became my godparents because that's exactly what they did, man. They took us in and, they allowed for me to kind of grow into the man that I became. And so I'm eternally grateful to them because of that. And it's my Aunt Elena's birthday. And shout out to TT Lena, man. I love you. And many, many more birthdays to come. So she's also the champ of the week this week here at the Spirit Report Podcast, man. Real talk. But it is time for us to get on up out of here. But before, of course, we do that, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast and let your voice be heard, man. Go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. We'll play those messages here on the show and respond to those messages in the same way. Also, hit us up on our email at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Leave us those emails, and of course, those emails will get right here and reply to here live on the show as well. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So you go ahead, follow me there, chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, hit up our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And of course, we really appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network. You can also go to our store from the website, right? Get yourself some merch. Get yourself a t-shirt. Get yourself a face mask. Get yourself a coffee mug. Anything, man. We got some stuff over there. So we appreciate everybody who contributes in that way, man. Real talk. And you can join our Patreon patrons. You can become a Patreon patron as well. And those folks are the ones who allow for us to do this show here live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Periscope. So shout out to our Patreon patrons. We really appreciate everybody who contributes in that way. Also, 5-star reviews on iTunes and on Stitcher Radio. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. We appreciate everybody who goes about the minutes of doing that, because that doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. But it is time for us to get on up out of here. I've been running my mouth for damn near 2 hours, and I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.